everyone, this is Michaela with LearnWire, and today I'm going to go over the program Selzy. Selzy is an email marketing platform used to send out email campaigns such as marketing campaigns or newsletters or anything sort of like that. It's kind of an alternative to Mailchimp, MailerLite, SendGrid, and it's probably going to be used more by marketers or small businesses or solo entrepreneurs. The deal on this ends in 11 days, so if you haven't acted yet, I would definitely jump on this deal now. It looks like it is 90% off on appsumo, so it's a pretty good deal. If we go down and look at the bunch of different features, it's all of the basic email campaign features, like image storage, email builder, things like that. For the different licenses, there are 3 different tiers. For each tier, you do get all of the features included. It's mostly the main difference between the different tiers is going to be the amount of contacts you can have. So for the tier 1 license at $69, there's going to be 7,500 contracts. The 138 tier 2 license is going to be 15,000 contacts. And then the tier 3 $207 license is going to be 30,000 different contacts. There's also a tier 4, which is it has the same amount of contacts, so I'm not entirely sure what the difference is between tier 3 and tier 4. That's kind of interesting. Selzy was created by Evgenia Budrina. I apologize if I totally butchered that. If we look at the reviews, it looks like it has an average of 4 tacos, which is not bad at all. Looking at some of the reviews, it looks like the biggest complaint was that the email goes to spam, but it looks like reviewers say that it is a pretty straightforward and quick loading. They do have support in both English and Portuguese, so that's nice. Looks like the support team is pretty responsive. I see them responding to a couple different reviews. And if we go look at the questions, looks like they're responding within a day, so that's always a good sign. So let's go take a look at the software that we've got. Okay, so this is the Selzy dashboard. It's pretty sleek, it's pretty simple, it's not super overwhelming, which I've used Mailchimp in the past, and that one can, if you don't know what you're doing, be super overwhelming. There's just so much on the page. But this is really sleek and really simple to look at. You have quick buttons to create a campaign or import your contacts. I do like that it does have a count of how many emails you have left available, as well as how many contacts you have left available. With other programs that I've experienced, you don't always know, or it's not always clear how much you have left until you go to create it and you've run out. Whereas this is just really front and center. There's no question about where you stand with how much you have left, which is really nice, really cool. It also has goals kind of front and center, so you can choose what the goal is of your campaign, and it will give you the steps that you need to take to reach your goal. So that's pretty cool. Kind of offers a little bit of free coaching, just a little bit to help you get started, especially if you're new to doing this. It definitely helps you and kind of points you in the right direction on what you need to do and how to get started. So that's really cool. It also shows you the stats for your campaigns within the last 30 days. So you don't have to go searching for it. It's all just kind of right there on the front page, which is really cool. All right, so let's go ahead and just create a campaign just to start. You have a bunch of different options for the campaigns that you can start. It has an email, it has a text message, Viber, Telegram, or you can just start making an email template if you're not quite sure what you want to do yet. So let's go ahead and start up an email campaign. It looks like you can choose between the old UI and the new UI. Because this is our first time, let's just go ahead and go with the new AI or the new UI. So right away you can see a bunch of different templates to choose, each with its own kind of purpose. So let's see, right here we've got maybe some ticket info, there's a newsletter it looks like, here's an offer, book hotels. So there's a bunch of different templates for all of your needs depending on what you want to do. So let's go ahead and just start on the digest. Let's use this one. Now it's a little slow. It takes a little bit more time, a little bit of time for things to kind of load in. It could be faster. It could definitely be a little bit faster, but all in all, not too bad. Not waiting a ton. Now that we're here, it looks like it's just a simple template editor similar to, you know, Mailchimp or any of the other email campaign websites. So you can change this here. You can change this. I do like, it's kind of all in one place. The template editor is definitely super easy to use. So we can, it looks like we have the option to mark this up, which is really cool. I like that we can edit it. We've got some stickers we can add. Let's add a little cute little alien right there. So that's pretty cool. There's a lot of stickers there. Got emoticons. There's actually way more than I would have thought there would be, personally. I like the little mustache guy, little Lego mustache. Let's see, there's some doodles. So we've got watermelon, very cute. A lot of different food options that could be good, especially if you're sending out, like, you know, maybe notifications on like a cafe or something. Let's see, we've got some landmarks, some chat bubbles, transportation stickers, some beach. Okay, so that's pretty cool. We've got a pretty good array of different stickers and stuff you can do, which is really cool. Let's see, we can resize, we could draw on it. Just hello. Let's see. Yeah, with a bunch of different brush types, that's really cool. Typically with these kinds of editors, there's not a lot of options, but this actually gives more options than I would have thought they would, if I'm being honest. Got a nice brush size. Ooh, that one's really big too. And then once we have this all edited, we can just select this update button. One thing I did notice that I didn't mention earlier is that there is a chat feature right here in this green bubble, and it's just there all the time. So that's really cool. I like that they do show as to how long it takes for them to respond. Let's pretend that we have all of this done. Okay, I wonder if I can add other websites to it, or if it's just limited to Facebook and Instagram. It's possible that that's just another template, or there might be more options. I don't see really anywhere to add one, which is a little disappointing. I think it would be really nice to have more options to add for social medias. Let's see. Okay, I do like how you can hover over the template and it does kind of it gives you a bigger preview, so you're not kind of squinting to see what all is there. That's really nice. That's a really nice feature. And I do like how you can add different blocks. You can add different blocks, so it has, oh, let's see, footers. Okay, so you can add more. But then how can you add? Okay, so you can change that. And I do like that you can change as to whether or not you're looking at a desktop or mobile. That's really handy, because I know with some campaigns and some pieces of software, it'll look different depending on whether or not you're looking on the desktop or on your mobile phone. And to be able to specify, oh, this is how it's going to look on the desktop, this is how it's going to look on mobile. And then I do like how there is the option for both. That's really cool. So then it's standard across both. That's a really nice touch. Okay, I still don't see anywhere really to add different social medias. So that maybe that's something. Or it's possible that this template itself doesn't necessarily have it, which would be nice. It's a little bit of a shame if you can't change, if you don't have the freedom to change the template that much. Let's say we're good with this template. Let's continue on. Okay, continue. All right, interesting. Hitting the continue button doesn't... Oh, okay. No, it was doing something. It just took some time. Now we can add our recipients. So we have a list. We can import contacts, so that'll be good. Let's import some contacts. It's taken a little bit of time. You can upload different formats. I do like that it has a few different formats that you can use. Or it looks like you can, so you can also manually add your contacts here. So we'll just do this. We'll just do my email. And then there's a phone number. You can add a Telegram messenger and then the name. Okay. So we can also add this contact to a list. So we'll add it to my first list. Nice. And you can also create a tag. So let's create a tag. We'll just call it self. So making tags and adding to lists, that's super easy, super intuitive, and it's super quick. So that's very nice. And you can add a custom field. So you can add a last name or a birthday or a job title or anything to help sort your different contacts. So that's really nice. That's really cool. So if you want to send an email just to everyone who lives in, LA or Austin or Chicago, you can add a city to everyone. Add that as a tag or as a list or anything like that. So that's really cool. Okay, I do like that it stops you. So you're not going to be able to add the same person time and time again. They won't get multiple copies of your email. It's just going to be one. It's just going, you're not going to have to worry about totally spamming someone with your emails. I'm sure some people would like that, but I know a lot of people definitely don't. So this will prevent you from doing so. So then it navigated me away from my campaign. I wonder, did it save it? Let's check out my templates. Okay, no, so this is more for templates that you've made. Okay, so it didn't save that campaign that I was working on earlier. So that's a little counterintuitive. It would be nice even if it kind of pulls it off to the side. I'm a little sad because the editing I did to that one picture was phenomenal, but that's okay. Okay, so let's go, we'll just use the same template. Alright, so we'll use this one. We won't make any edits to it. Then you can edit the subject and the sender. So the subject of the email and then the sender, obviously. So we'll just call this one digest. And then we'll have the pre-header be digest to electric boogaloo. Okay. So then it's from me. It'll come from me. And then I can also put my name. So we'll just put... Okay, we can add personalization to it. So we can add, say, their name. So if it's going to a Samantha, it'll be Digest Samantha. You can add the city, so that's pretty cool. And it looks like we can also add emojis, which is a really neat feature as well. Let's get rid of these, though. We don't really need them. Okay, so these will all be grabbed from that contact form. So if it's not in the contact form, then it probably won't pop anything up there. So let's continue on. We will add it to my first list. It kind of looks like there's a checkbox. I'm not sure if there is a checkbox and it's checked because that's my only list, or if that checkbox just doesn't work. We'll go with the first assumption, but I could be wrong. So let's continue on. And then we can review it and finish this. So we can kind of review, we see the subject, the pre-header, who it's from, we can look at the recipients, we can schedule an email, so we can either send it now, or if we want to send it at 2 a.m. on a Thursday night, we can also do that. Let's see, there are additional settings, so it will show, it'll dictate how any pictures are sent, so if it's links or as attachments, very handy. What the reply to will be, what analytics you get from it. So if they open it, if they click on anything, any unsubscribe settings, and then any attachments that you want to add to it. So if you want to attach any pictures or a form or anything like that, you have the option to attach those right down here on the bottom. So we have everything done and ready to go. Let's send the campaign. Looks like preview didn't load, so it looks like there's maybe a bug right there. So it looks like there's an issue with the preview, which it's kind of unfortunate that it's not there, because I definitely always want to check my preview so I can make sure that everything's spelled correctly, attach the right images and everything like that. So then there's one final pop-up for sending the campaign, which is always nice to have. And then it shows the number of recipients. So let's go ahead and send off our campaign. And nice, lovely little confirmation. Let's go back to the dashboard. Okay, so now we can see all of the different analytics that we said that we wanted to keep an eye on. So we can see how many opens there have been, how many clicks, how many unsubscribes there have been. We can kind of keep track of all of that just right in our front dashboard, which is super nice, super handy. Let me open it up, see if that will update in real time. Okay, so I'm not seeing it in my inbox. Okay, yeah, so it looks like that went straight to spam. I don't know if that's because of my email provider or what's going on with that. But I've clicked on it. I've opened it up. Let me also bring it up over here. This is what it looks like. None of the pictures are loading. I don't know if that's because it's spam. Let's mark this as not spam and then take a look at it. Okay, so it looks like it was just not showing those pictures up because it was marked as spam. Okay, so those are showing up. It looks good, looks just like the template. We have successfully sent our campaign. I'm going to go ahead and refresh the page, see if it will update those stats. Okay, yep, it does. So it doesn't update those stats in real time, but it does update them pretty quickly. I'd say it was maybe a minute from when I opened it to when I refreshed. And then I see at the bottom, the digest, it looks like it has kind of another smaller overview. Let's look at... I'm not sure what the difference is between this analysis and this analysis. If this is just the percentage and this is more of a graph. So let's take a look at this more button. This pulls us down over to the tools section. And it looks like it is processing the request, which it is taking a little bit of time, which is unfortunate because we have had one campaign sent to one person. So it shouldn't really take this long. So it's probably been a solid 3 or 4 minutes and this is still loading, which is not good considering how little data I had. I don't know if this is just a standard amount of time for every single request or if it will go longer with more information. But if it does go longer with more information, but regardless, it's not really a good thing that it's taking this long, because if it's taking this long for just even a small amount of data, that's not good. If it's the same amount of time, no matter how much data it is, then it's going to be kind of annoying to sit and wait for all of this data to load when you don't have that much data. It's just a tiny, I'm just dealing with a tiny amount of data right here, and it's taking probably 5 minutes at this point for the data to load. So if it's this long, no matter the data, that's not great for those who only have a small amount of data like I did. And if the time it takes to load depends on how much data you have, then it's not good for people who have larger amounts of data. I mean, obviously, if you are dealing with larger amounts of data, then yes, this should take more time. But I have one click to one recipient with one email, and it's taking a weirdly long time. So that's not ideal. I'm not a huge fan of that at all. Okay, so there is a little bit of history here. So it does give you kind of a simpler overall. I don't know if that last page, maybe it gave you more of an in-depth analysis. I'm not 100% certain though, because my data wasn't loading and I wasn't going to sit there and wait for it. That's kind of frustrating. But as we're looking at our campaigns, we have the total campaign history. Let's check out emails. Okay, so this kind of has an overall kind of report on everything that was done. It does kind of have I was messing around with it a little earlier just to kind of get a little more familiar with it, and it does have those on there. So that's interesting. I don't know if it's necessarily a good thing. Oh, okay, you can remove them. That's good. So you're not going to have all of these unused email templates clogging this up. It's just going to, you can get rid of the ones that you didn't use, so it's more condensed. Ideally, I don't think it should have unsent campaigns by default. It should just show the ones that were sent, so you don't have to go through and delete all of the ones that you're not necessarily, that you didn't send, so you don't have any stats for those. But it is a good thing that I can at least get rid of them, so they're not clogging up my view. I do wish these would disappear. If I go back to history and then emails. Okay, so they do disappear if I navigate away and then come back, so that's really nice. Okay, we have any Telegram ones. There's also the A/B test. If you send out a bunch of different versions of one email campaign, you can kind of compare and contrast the different versions. That way you can see what was received better by your audience. And you can choose the most effective strategy and the most effective campaign for you to send out and move forward through in the future. And then we also have just kind of a little section for my templates. So you can create your email template here. You can also see any messages. Yep, so this will bring you back to the messages. Looks like it will show any scheduled campaigns that are coming up, which is really good. And then you can also go to my templates. All right, so then we're going to go check out this automation tab. So this will be, kind of an if-then statement sort of chain. So let's create a new chain. There's a bunch of different templates that you can choose from. If you're not entirely certain what a one entails, you can click that little view feature and it will show you the steps in that automation. So you add someone to a list as a start, and then you send the email. And then 2 days, you send another email. And then in another 2 days, you send a reminder email. And it has kind of a checklist and a timeline of the different campaigns and the different promotions that you want to start. Let's use this one. Let's name our chain test. Okay. And then I'm not entirely sure what this does now. So it's not very clear. I have draft. Do I have to hit enter? No, that just saved it. Create different tags for it, but there's no real good. It doesn't. Okay, so this isn't very clear as to how to create the automation. What happens if I exit out? So let's create a chain. Let's do the webinar. Okay, so you edit it from here. All right, so that was not super clear. So it looks like these emails are more of the standard email than, those. Oh, no, it's right here. Yep. You can choose one of those templates that you used before, or you can kind of just type in a standard email without any of the fun, pretty graphics or anything like that. It'll just kind of be as if you're sending just a standard email to someone, or you can do one of the templates that you've created, which is really nice, really cool. Let's see, there are some additional settings. You can add some UTM tags if you want to track some of your individual analytics. And then you can choose a language for your unsubscribe link. It does default, it looks like there's either Russian or English. That's interesting. And then if you want to add a delay time, then you can add, I want to send this in 3 days, or I want to send this at this time on this date. So then we want to save that. Cool. So we have our join the webinar, and then you can add another action to it, and then you have your success. Looks like you can add 100 different blocks to your chain, so that's pretty cool. It's a lot of blocks. Okay, and then there are also, let's head on over to the tools. If you want to create a form, for example, a newsletter subscription form, you can create that form here. We'll name this one Digest. We'll just stick with our Digest theme. Then you can design your little pop-up. Looks like it's just another pretty basic design tool, but you can also, again, have either the desktop view or the mobile view. So that's really nice, really handy to have. And then can also integrate it into your website. So you can have either JavaScript or HTML. The HTML, nothing is populating on the HTML. So at this point, if you are using HTML, looks like you might just be out of luck. I'm not 100% certain, but it does have a fancy little copy button, so you don't have to, highlight, copy, paste. You can just boink, and it is copied. Then there's a little slider for if you want to activate it or make it inactive. We can save and exit, but we're just going to close. Let's see. There's also some unsubscribe pages. You can, if someone wants to unsubscribe, you can change what that looks like here. There is just kind of a default unsubscribe page, and then you can also add the different reasons for why you want to unsubscribe. There's also your unsubscribe links. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, so you can just add this straight to your website. There is no copy button, which is a little disappointing, but that's okay. It's a much smaller thing to highlight and copy. I have noticed that it does take a little bit of time to kind of go in between tabs. It's almost as if it's a completely different web page instead of a tab. So a little it's just a little weird. I wouldn't say disappointing. It's a little deceiving rather, because it just takes more time. I thought that it would maybe be a little bit of a more smooth transition, but it's not. But it still is. It's quick in the grand scheme of things, but it's longer than it probably should be. So then looks like you can create your own subscribe reasons. And then there's also, once it loads, the statistics for the last 30 days for your campaign. This is with the whole loading data that took forever. So it's just another way to get to that page. Additionally, Selzy does have the option to add a chatbot. So you can create a bunch of different scenarios. This is pretty easy. If we want to edit it, we can make message, or we can add a pop-up menu, or if you want to collect data, or any of these other options. There's also a nice little clear button, so if you get your way in over your head, then you can just clear it and start on over, which is really nice. You don't have to delete. It just one and done. It does not necessarily provide the chatbot. You do have to connect a chatbot through BotFather in Telegram, which is a little sad because then you have to sign up for one more thing. But there is that option there, and it looks like it is a pretty simple and easy process for you to do. And if something did go wrong, there is a nice little easy to click link right there. So it will give you detailed instructions on how to connect everything. I do like that the option is there. A little disappointing that it's not its own thing, and you do have to sign up for something else. But again, like I said, it does kind of look like it's going to be pretty easy to do and pretty intuitive. So that option is there if you would like it, which it is nice to have. I do want to get out of this. There's no back button, which is a little weird for that. I do have to go click back on the chat bots, which if you aren't super comfortable with computers, that definitely can be a little confusing. There are some chatbot templates that are coming soon. They are not integrated yet, but it looks like it is something that they're working on. So you don't have to come up with your own thing from scratch. There will be templates and other things that you can use. You can also connect to your chatbot here. So if you want to do it, we can click on that. It's just that same 3-step bot connection process. And then finally, the last thing I want to go through is the integrations that are offered with it. There are a decent amount of integrations that you can do. You've got Salesforce, there's Zendesk, you can do it with Facebook or Shopify. I do like that it has these little tags, so you can see, oh, this one's popular, oh, this one's free. And then finally, down here, we have the little help section. So there is a quick link to their knowledge base. You can look at their contacts, so their phone numbers, addresses, and you can also see when their office hours are, as well as quick and easy access to the private policy, terms of use, and the anti-spam policy. Overall, I'd probably give Selzy a 3.9 star rating. It's very easy to use, and it's very intuitive for those who haven't really done a lot of work with email campaigns. However, it doesn't look like it has nearly as much as Mailchimp does, and it doesn't really offer anything different from some of those other email management platforms. So if you're super comfortable using with those, you're probably best sticking with them. There's just nothing new necessarily here, nothing that hasn't already been done before. Now they are still implementing features, so that definitely could change in the future, but right now it's just more of what's already out there. On top of that, it is a little slow with navigation. It takes a little bit of time, and looking at your analytics for your campaigns, again, took 5 minutes or so, and it never even loaded, so I didn't even get to see what those looked like. And I just had one email to one person with one open. So that's really not a good look. But yeah, so overall, definitely a 3.9. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave those below. We will see you next time. Goodbye.